Nadia.
Hello, everybody. Today we start our roadshow and the laws of investments during the COVID-19 pandemic using fintech and blockchain. And we have a number of keynotes today to start with. We have Andrew Lee, benefits of online education and trading during COVID-19. Ingo Ruebe, IO as a current fundraising mechanism. Aditya Mishra, opportunities for founders to pivot in COVID and crypto evolution in India, industrialization of custody. Andy Lear, laws of investments during the post-COVID-19, and Jim Martin, how is fintech, blockchain, crypto going to get benefited by the crisis? And I pass the floor to my colleague today, Soni Mahanti, the regional director of LATOKEN in Singapore, to run the round of introductions and the first round of questions with keynotes. Thank you.
Everyone, myself, Sani Mohanty. I'm the regional director of LATOKEN in Singapore. So today we have a very special session where we'll have 5 keynote speakers from various parts of the world. We start with Andre Lee, who is the head of business development of Zinfin Fintech. And over to you, Andre. And we would like you to introduce yourself, followed up by your keynote topic. Thank you.
Oh, hi everyone. My name's Andre. I represent the Zinfin SDC network. I'm the head business development based in Singapore. So it's a pleasure to be invited here by LA Token. Zinfin is actually one of the clients of, and we listed on the LA Token sometime back, and they've been very helpful to us to help raise some funding. So we are always pleased to work together with LA Token. And basically, I'll go to our topic.
Yeah, you can share your screen.
Yep. Okay, so basically today we are going to talk about online education in the current COVID-19 environment. This is developed by Zinfin SDC network using our platform. So basically, as everyone is stuck at home around the world during COVID, we actually had an increase in sales. And what we did was that we decided to launch more programs. So basically, we have a new skills benefit. So first you can learn new skills while staying at the comfort of your home and getting access to commercial opportunities because of a newly acquired skill. So how do you start? It's quite easy. Later on, I'll show a short video demo. Basically, you study online courses. The courses we have are like a blockchain basic course for engineer, a blockchain advanced course for engineer, and we have a blockchain professional course for engineer, and also lastly we have a cloud computing. I myself have taken 3 of the courses, and despite not having a technical background, I was able to clear the courses and take the exams in between 5 working days. And also right now is that we have access to the course, and we will come out with new courses on a regular basis. And why do we give exams? Because we want to ensure there's a retention of knowledge. And the study shows that giving an exam will help retain your skills up to 90%. And the third stage is that we get a certification that ensures that there's a track of skill acquired. And this is tied to our blockchain powered network. And next, we also encourage students to do a lot of media sharing so that we can get more customers. Get access to more commercial opportunities after the course, and add to social media like LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. Yeah, because Zinfin we're very active on all media platforms. And this is basically my experience of using the block degree courses. As I mentioned just now, these are the courses. And what I do now is that I will do a short demo.
Andre, we don't hear the sound. Probably you can give comments on what is happening on the screen.
Oh, okay. Basically, right now we're having we're doing an enrollment, and you can choose a payment on the payment on XDC, pay by PayPal, and this is a certificate of certification. You get a verified certificate, and you can list all the certificates here. And basically, just copy the hash and then you paste it in the box, and then you can open the certificate. And then here you can see the certificate. And all you use is a phone scanner.
Yeah, we can't hear you clearly, Andre.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's better now. Yeah.
Okay.
So you have another presentation regarding the.
Yes, I'm going to finish the So basically, the exam is certifications. So basically, you have a course fee. You can pay US $10 worth of XDC coins, which is about 9,000 XDC coins as per current rate, and this is the certificate. And the other option for exam, you can apply for certificate funding. So actually, block degree is appealing to we're working with corporates to have corporate sponsors for students around the world to get sponsored by well wishers and corporate donors. And this the benefits of blockchain degree is that there's many edtech platforms that are limited to just online programs. So that basically for online certification, we can give the opportunity to cover a wide range of scope and the underlying blockchain technology. And so basically the immutable certificate is stored on our blockchain for 2 years. And basically we can add additional skill that's set to a LinkedIn profile. And this will create more new opportunities and adding skills and qualifications. And this is the current statistics we have. We have 20,423 people that have already taken the free course, and 1,006 plus certificates that's already been issued on the network. So you can start learning now at blockdegree.org. And basically, what are the key strong cases that it's applicable to this technology? First is the supply chain. Universities, there's some issues in some countries. They have a lot of fake university degrees. Even in Singapore, we experience it as well. So this will prevent that from happening, and it also makes it faster for the university staff to retrieve the certificate in case the student misplaces the certificate, and they can get it done on the spot rather than take a few working days and all these things. And basically, we also can do this for healthcare. There's a lot of people that right now they're buying masks. There's a lot of cases in Europe that there are some issues of low quality masks from certain countries. So basically, all our network is we have technology that can help avoid that issue. We also can do real estate network and vehicle registration as well.
Okay.
And one thing is that I will do a short presentation. We also have a trade finance platform developed by XDC Network. So basically, we have a Red Lab license from Abu Dhabi Global Markets. So basically, why we came out is this because of a trade war that happens between countries, and then there's a need for this because when I worked in the bank before, there's a lot of paper-based stuff and all these things. It's not very friendly for the bank staff, and actually during COVID time, we need to be more process-oriented. So basically, we can eliminate the people from going to like warehouses and all these things to retrieve data. And they can store all the bank documents on the blockchain. And the central banks have mandated their banks to work with standardized trade finance instruments so that you can mitigate risk and prevent billions in losses due to frauds. So there's a need to go faster and cheaper global settlements backbone. And basically for global payments, it's built on expensive legacy infrastructure. Then the cost of international payments and remittance is up to the 10% of the cost. I mean, I myself, I had a case that I transferred money from Cambodia to Japan, when I was working there, and the money took about 2 weeks to reach the Japanese client. So because of the they don't have a blockchain during those times. So that was an extreme case.
Over time now. Sorry to interrupt you, Andre.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So they say this is a use case that we have. All right.
All right, thank you. These two use cases on the blockchain technology are the future and obviously the current times, considering the current times, it's the future as well. So what advice do you have for how can this technology, the underlying technology, blockchain technology, can actually help trade finance to banking, for example, to the banks? What's
basically,
yeah.
Okay, basically for the banks, what happens is that we can help them save transaction costs, storage costs as well, because they don't need to store the hard copy in the third-party warehouse, and basically we can speed up it makes everyone happy, because if I do a telegraphic transfer, or I want to approve a letter of credit, things get more faster, because trade finance is like commodities business is very fast. So let's say I want to take a trade finance for, let's say, selling coal. Sometimes there's steam coal. There's a long process. So basically, all this we blockchain the whole process, so that we create more trust in the market, so that the deal gets done faster, everyone gets their money faster, and even the logistics company is faster, is happy as well. Because now the supply chain is disrupted because of the COVID. So we believe with our solution, we can help assist all these issues.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. You can stop the screen share now. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Andre. Thanks for your keynote.
Thanks, Sorry. All right.
Yeah. So next one that we have is Mr. Ingo Ruebe who is the CEO of Bot Labs and the project lead at KILT protocol. So Ingo, over to you with your keynote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So first, for the person, my name is Ingo. I'm a trained computer scientist. I worked in C-level positions of big European companies for the last 20 years or so. And in 2016, I actually got infected with the blockchain virus. And this is why I changed into the blockchain world in 2017 completely. And what we're building since then is actually we try to build a connection between the traditional industry and the blockchain industry, because we think this is really, really important. And we do this underlying protocol, Kilt.io, to help this. Now for the actual question, and the actual question is the Corona crisis actually a chance for the crypto economy? And let's first look at the question. If we ask a question like that, we probably wouldn't ask it if everything was bright and shiny and all right in our market. So obviously we have some issues in the crypto market. So let's talk about crypto as such first. So I think we all agree it's a beautiful technology. I think as scientists, we also see that it is a key technology and a key driver for the future. Why not work there? And when you look a little bit into it, then you notice that it's also, it has the possibility to make the world a better place, a best place to work in. So why then do we actually have problems? I think what I learned over the last 3 years or so is actually when you look at industry and crypto, there is no urgency for using what we do. So it is nice to have, and it is maybe strategic, but it's no quick win. So nobody really from industry can say, please, can you help me with a blockchain solution? Basically, a lot of things also work with databases. So I think this is the biggest problem we face. It's no urgency in there. The other thing is that we also notice that there's a lot of research still to be done before we can become mainstream. I would personally say, give it another 5 years to really become mainstream. But if we do something like that and say that, like give it another 5 years, then it means for companies that blockchain is a long-term and strategic investment. And this also means that we are not drowning in money. So there's far too little liquidity in the market we need for development, actually. And if the startups don't get enough money, then they have a very short runway. And actually, they need very long runways, years and years of runways. And if they don't get them, they tend to pivot away from blockchain after a while because they want to save their investments. And then they do something that industry actually requires from them. And they turn away from the actual blockchain projects, and this way they pull the brains out of the market that we actually need in the blockchain market. So actually we have some problem here. And those problems would be solved when industry and governments would be brave enough to adopt our technology and support our industry. Then the second question comes up, why don't they do that? And I think the answer is genetic. There is a strong retention force in human beings. Just one example, get back to the Stone Age. You're sitting in your cave with all your friends beside the fire, and then you hear a strange sound from outside the cave. So most of the people will probably gather around the fire or behind the fire because they're a little bit afraid, and maybe one or two of the persons there will go out and look what the sound came from and learn something new. So it's pretty likely that the new sound was a tiger or something, and then those people get eaten, right? And then they don't have a chance to spread their genes to the next generations. So basically, your ancestors, your grandfathers and grandmothers were the people sitting behind the fire. And those are not the people going forward. And this is exactly what we see right now in the economy. First movers are likely to fail, and stock markets don't really reward strategic thinking. Let me give you an example for that. Global warming, I think before Corona, everybody talked about global warming, so it's still on the plate somehow. And we all understand it's high time to change our habits. And clearly, the players in the market who supply the needs of a changing society will be the future winners of the game. So it would be economically wise to invest in sustainable ventures. Now, if you look at today, German car manufacturers, I'm from Germany, try to survive the current crisis by asking the government to subsidize diesel cars. How stupid is that? Why don't they ask the government for research and development funds to catch up a little bit, at least with Tesla's electric cars? So they're going back. So what we can learn from that is in the time of crisis, we stop, we turn around, and we hide behind the fire. And most big publicly traded corporations behave like that. A large portion of the currently, we have $15 trillion pumped into the market by governments, and this will help these corporations to delay the death of their old business models. On the other side, Corona is a chance. It's a chance for society to rethink habits and evolve towards a more sustainable way of life. I, for my part, plan to cut down my business trips by 80% after Corona. As you notice, Zoom and other tools are fine for most things, and it saves me a lot of time. I could have flown to Singapore, like 12 hours and 12 hours back for that show, but actually it's quite time saving when I just stay here. And I'm probably not the only manager thinking like that. On the other side, we see German airline Lufthansa, which focused totally on business travel in the last 10 years, is currently asking the government for 9 billion euros to help them to sustain their old business. From these examples, we can learn three things. First, people will be more mindful after the crisis and avoid some unnecessary consumption. Second, big companies which don't use the crisis to adjust their business models and rethink their values will fail, making room for new companies to grow. And third, there is a lot of new fiat money created, which eventually will lead to a certain devaluation of fiat currencies. So now, in my humble opinion, we will see three consequences from that. Firstly, more people will start to understand digitalization helps living a more sustainable life, which greatly eases adoption of new technologies. And people will start questioning the power distribution within the web, which will naturally lead to blockchain solutions. So please look out for Web3 projects. There's a lot of Web3 projects trying to repair the power distribution on the web. Secondly, the cleaning up of the market will put more money into the hands of companies which will more easily follow the thoughts of scientists, be it computer scientists, environmental scientists, no matter. And this will drive the blockchain adoption, but only if we make the first step. So let's seek collaboration with those companies who are more agile than the others. And thirdly, all the money which is newly minted has to go somewhere. it's probably not going to sit on a bank account. At the same time, we will see that GDP will seek a lower level when we become more mindful. Now, why is that? GDP, when you look at it, actually it measures the amount of resources we turn into trash. When we reduce the trash, we also reduce the GDP at the same time. This will make stock markets a frustrating experience and financial crisis more likely in the midterm future, I would say. The money will seek new hope in other channels. And besides the obvious, like real estate, resources, and gold, crypto is a nice alternative. And we already see, starting with Bitcoin, of course, it seems that some portion of the new money flows into the market, which is good news. And we should advertise that as an alternative for putting your money. So if that happens, then actually we're in a better situation than we were before. So how can we make best use of the money that will flow into the ecosystem and support as many new ideas and solutions as possible? When we look at the history of blockchain, I admit it's not a long history, but there's still already something to learn. We can learn something, I think, from Ethereum. In 2017, Ethereum became a huge success and highly valued decentralized system, to a large part because other holders could reinvest their cryptocurrencies into prospective projects built on the same platform, which in turn increased its own value. So investors could put their money on two bets at the same time. If the project they finance turns out to be success, I have a valuable coin.
One moment.
Yeah, I'm almost done. I'm sorry, and they will use the Ethereum network, and those projects will use the Ethereum network, increasing the value of the remaining others. So we think that Polkadot, which is a network which is going to go live this month, is likely to become the next base technology adopted by many developers and businesses, as it promises to solve some of the most imminent problems of blockchain. And its success is completely dependent on a lively ecosystem around it. So what if we could enable DOT holders to reinvest their DOTs into the Polkadot ecosystem to fund projects, maybe by an IEO, and earn return on their investments in a sustainable and secure way? We have been thinking about that concept for the last few weeks together with a handful of other companies, and would like to invite you or anyone to join the effort. So please reach out to me. I'm ingo@kilt.io. And the conclusion of the whole thing is never miss a good crisis. Thank you.
Perfect. That was awesome. Thank you, Ingo. I've got a very specific question because you touched base on many points, starting from money, currency, IEOs, and startups. So one specific question. A startup who is in crypto or in blockchain, and probably they are pretty new, like pre-seed, early stage startup. For them, I think raising funds is a major thing. What's your one advice to those startups in terms of raising funds? Like they have a crypto, they're based on the blockchain, and they are pretty new in the market. And considering the times, what's your one advice to them?
I think not even considering the times, the most important thing is look for partners. Don't try to do it alone. Try to be part of an ecosystem, try to, with other crypto companies, or even better, try to make friends with industry and have yourself sponsored. So my company, for example, has been sponsored for the last 2.5 years, 100% by big companies in Europe, so we never made a round. For example, I think this is the right way to go, because we need a lot. If you do something really useful, then you will need a lot of time, and you can't make it alone. If you have something, if you have the partner network, then it will be much easier to go to the investors and say, now look at my network. So we're building something. There's people believing in it already. Now you can invest in my token. I think the first round should always be together with partners, not necessarily from the investor space. Investors come in later, and you should give them the possibility to find out that you're sane and you're doing something which is really valuable. Then they have a much easier decision in investing in your company, and it's more likely that they will give you enough money to have a nice runway, because you will need it. There's
Excellent.
nothing like 2 months.
Yeah. So the key takeaway is having the right partner. Excellent. Thank you. Thanks for that. Next we have is Eddie Ler, who is an investor representing Vantage Ventures in Singapore. Over to you, Eddie. Hi, Eddie, you're on mute. Can you hear us? Hi, you there? Okay, so can we just move on to the next keynote speaker, Aditya Mishra? Hi, Aditya, you there? He's the CEO of Cume, and he's currently in New York, but he has many companies under himself in Singapore, and he's also invested into many startups. So we have Eddie, who is back now, just in time. Eddie, sorry, yeah. So yeah, so do you like to start your keynote now, or just about to start with Aditya, but since you are here?
All right, yeah, so let me start. Yeah, my name is Eddie. I'm a Singaporean. I'm a former World Bank consultant for emerging financial institutions in Southeast Asia. Currently, I'm an investor at Vantage Venture. So at Vantage Venture, we are early stage investors. We invest in SaaS, B2B platforms and marketplaces. The verticals we like are fintech, AI, education tech, and also data analytics. So our portfolio have been invested by sovereign wealth funds, by Kingdom Holdings from the Middle East, also by other VCs, family offices, and angels. So recently we had an exit. There was an insurtech that was acquired by a large fintech group. That's pretty interesting. And 2 years ago, they had raised a 20 million token round. So I think that is very interesting. 5 months back, one of our portfolio raised 18 million Series A. That was for a consumer company, interestingly. Yeah. So in this COVID crisis, what do investors like us do? The short answer is we are still investing. Why? Because we think that our investment thesis at Vantage Venture is sound. We focus on real solid cases. We look for traction and solid teams. In fact, in a crisis like this represents a good opportunity for longer-term investors like us to pick up good companies at attractive valuations. We see a lot of flat rounds coming up. We see a lot of down rounds as well. And for long-term investors like us, this makes it more worthwhile for us to pay attention. So as an example, 2 months ago in March, we had closed a pre-Series A round for an education tech company in Asia. I won't disclose the name because the press release is not out yet. But yes, we are still investing. And we also see more deals coming our way, interestingly, at this juncture. So the rules of investment haven't changed for us. They have been bent somewhat. What does this mean? We always take a portfolio approach to invest, but we have to be careful to pick certain verticals that are more interesting in this juncture. So which are the verticals that are interesting at this moment? In a world of remote everything, we try to focus on digital economy, less of the offline for obvious reasons. Medical tech is interesting. Fintech is always interesting to us. Education is very interesting. Yeah, so we look at real economy that can be digitized. Very simple. And because we look at things from a 10-year perspective, so we can ride out the wave. If you go back in time for the past 10 years, some of the best companies in the world were born during the last crisis. If you look at the likes of Uber, big company. If you look at Airbnb, big company. Are their valuation worse off these days? Yes. But you have to imagine 10 years ago where they were. And as early stage investors, we want to find such companies and join the ride.
Excellent. So great points from Eddie there. So this is the right time for investment. I mean, there is no stopping in terms of investment, right? Excellent. So you've just answered my question regarding which industries are you investing? But I have a very specific question for you. Are you looking to invest in a crypto or a blockchain startup, which is like pretty new in the market? And what are your thoughts?
Yeah, we have been observing crypto and Bitcoin for several years. We're always interested. We haven't found the right opportunity because our background is in the non-blockchain space. But at this juncture, we see interesting opportunities.
Okay. All right, you're on mute. Okay. Sure. Okay, thank you, Eddie. Thanks for your keynote.
Sony, we can hear you.
Okay, next we have Aditya Mishra, who is the CEO of Cube. Yeah, Aditya, over to you.
Thank you for organizing this. Thanks for the previous speakers as well. Some pretty interesting insights there. So just as a quick introduction, I've been in the tech space for several years now, and I've seen it from various different dimensions. I founded a couple of companies in the crypto space, but I also invested in late stage in various different tech companies in the Bay Area and also in India. And I'm overall pretty passionate about impact investing, especially when it comes at the intersection of technology as well. So I've made a couple of investments there as well. So, but broadly, by far the most, I guess, stressful, but also the most rewarding is the process of building out something. And that's where most of my focus is, and where basically building out a crypto derivatives exchange, which we launched about 4 or 5 months back, called Cube, regulated under the sandbox in the Central Bank of Bahrain. From a, I guess, macro situation and macro perspective of what we're seeing in the market right now is fairly scary for most founders. I was talking to a few founders in Bangalore and India and also in the Bay Area, and most people are struggling to get to a place where they can have at least 12 to 18 months of runway, which has also caused a lot of them to pivot and focus on more immediate revenue generation. It's also kind of alarming to see big bets by players like SoftBank not panning out the way they were supposed to, which was happening late last year, but because of the pandemic, it has accelerated significantly. And basically, we're trying to figure out, most founders are trying to figure out which VCs are still deploying capital, because a lot of deals that were on the table are not on the table, or are at a significant down round, like Eddie was mentioning. So, but most founders are trying to hustle and get past from the conversations that I'm having at the moment. On the other side, Ingo mentioned this previously, we're seeing massive quantitative easing into the ecosystem, which while most developed countries are already moving close to negative interest rates, we're seeing more of a push towards negative interest rates and just money being printed. This will be very interesting to see how this pans out long term. Obviously, Japan has been an interesting use case to see and study over the years, but with the US printing massive amounts of capital, it'll be interesting to see where this capital flows in, how this is paid back, does this lead to inflation, and what sort of business models emerge from here. But broadly, there will be private equity, venture capital, even public funds, which will have a lot of dry powder, which will need to be deployed. Hopefully, some of that trickles down to the crypto industry as well. I think increasingly the narrative for Bitcoin is really playing out. I've actually been telling this to people for a couple of years that the real test for Bitcoin would be when we hit halving and a recession at the same time, and looks like it's happening. So the real test for an uncorrelated asset class and Bitcoin being able to prove that is playing out, and hopefully the fundamentals stay same, and we can convince the broader public of the use case that Bitcoin pushes. I think in terms of just where founders are in terms of mindset, there's still a lot of hope. Again, as Eddie mentioned, some of the biggest companies were built out during the 2008-2009 recession. Uber and Airbnb looked very, very different when they had come out, but have done exceptionally well. But other than that, even companies like Twitter started off with a podcast search engine. YouTube started out as a video dating app. Netflix started out as a very different company than what it is today. So as a founder, I guess half of the battle is just showing up every day and making sure that you're in front of people and figuring out where the market needs are. So as a founder, I would urge everyone to not give up and just keep going, because there's always opportunities, especially in the time of crisis. And that's exactly what we're seeing, right? We're seeing some very key companies across the world raise significant pools of capital. Khatabook in India raised $60 million recently. Masterclass on the edtech side raised another $100 million. So both from an investor standpoint, but also from a company standpoint, there are still opportunities that are out there. And it may turn out that these are the best opportunities to capture growth over the next decade or so. For me, the journey in blockchain and crypto has been fairly long so far, and still learning every single day. There's very, very interesting use cases that keep emerging. As a company, we've done a bunch of stuff in the crypto space. Some of the things were very, very focused on the decentralization narrative towards 2017, all the way up until we decided to focus all our efforts on the derivatives exchange. And this is a point that Ingo had brought up as well, in terms of just being able to find real world use cases for the time being. When we had launched Decentralized exchange a couple of years back, there's so much friction in the entire process of just trading, just plugging in with MetaMask, getting market makers to come and make markets is fairly complex from a decentralization perspective. I think we're still very early in the ability to explain to a lot of large corporates what is the real use case here. Why should I not use an RDBMS, relational databases? And why should I really use blockchain? I think we're still fighting that battle, but I think eventually it will become clear what the real world use cases are. And by that matter of fact, Bitcoin, I think, has already kind of proven the value for decentralized money, but we'll see how that narrative plays out. Our focus to derivatives moved predominantly because we noticed that most of the value was being captured by exchanges in the ecosystem. And most of the volume as of last year was moving predominantly towards the derivatives aspect of trading. And I think that's mostly because the ecosystem is maturing. We're in a very different place than we were in 2017 or even 2018. There's far more finance focus moving in. And that's what we're also seeing kind of with the price stabilization within certain bands from time to time. I mean, of course, from time to time, we see major moves, but because we have options in the market, because we have derivatives that are increasingly adding more volume, we're seeing some sort of maturity emerge into the space. But that also presents some very simple opportunities if folks know where to look. I mean, there's basic opportunities in stuff like stablecoin lending. If you live in a low interest rate economy, there's massive arbitrage that you can capture just by borrowing at low interest rates and having stablecoin lending. There are pretty interesting opportunities that have emerged in arbitrage or volatility trading as well. So I think as long as one is willing to spend the time to take a deeper look as to the macro of the space, there are quite a few interesting opportunities that exist and will continue to exist for the next few years as the ecosystem evolves, right? Both as a blockchain use case, but also as the financial use case that so many people are drawn to in the blockchain. We're also very, very bullish about new markets opening up. India is obviously a very large behemoth of a market that has not really picked up ever since the central bank had put a ban on the banks working with crypto companies. But very interestingly, and I think probably the first time in history, a Supreme Court went against the central bank and basically quote unquote legalized cryptocurrency. So it's a very dynamic, interesting market with massive tech talent, which was scared in just participating even in the blockchain use cases previously. And I expect to see a massive influx of both talent and money coming from this market over the next 12 to 14 months. And we're trying to make a big push in that market as well. So more and more new markets are opening up. More jurisdictions are becoming, how should I say, regulatory friendly. So even Singapore earlier this year passed the Payment Services Bill. They've created some sort of a framework for taxation as well within the Singaporean jurisdiction. And increasingly, Bahrain and some folks in the FCA, etc. Everyone is beginning to take this seriously. So it's still early stages, but I think the pieces seem to be coming together across the entire world for what we've all been working towards. In terms of the biggest issue that we see, or one of the biggest issues that we see in the crypto industry right now, which when we speak with high net worth individuals or even institutional capital, is custody. So custody has been a challenge. A lot of big institutions like Fidelity and Bakkt have started getting quite a bit of traction in the US with respect to custody. But I think most exchanges, at least in Asia, the big exchanges all self-custodize. And that's always been a challenge for both the broader public and institutional capital to really take this seriously. And the industry itself hasn't really given the best examples as well, right? We had Mt. Gox earlier. More recently, we had the issue with Quadriga in Canada. So there's always these issues that come up from time to time, and that's also been a focus area for us. And because of that, we've been focused in partnering with Hashflow, which we'll be announcing sometime soon. And basically the thesis here is to build out decentralized custody, which to some of the previous points made here is layer 2 solution, which essentially means that it doesn't really cause issues with latency. So the big issue for decentralized exchange has just been
Okay. One more minute, sorry to interrupt. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So basically, big issue with decentralized exchanges has been to move the entire ecosystem into decentralization. That is not happening anytime soon. So we need like the middle ground where we can basically hold on to latency. We can hold on to some of the key features that exchanges want, but we abstract out the custody piece, and we can basically give users the ability to manage their keys. And this is something we're planning to launch in the next 48 hours. So hopefully folks will get to test it out. And this is not something out in the future. This is a real world use case. And we're hoping to push this out as well, and would love to get feedback.
All right, sure. Thank you, Aditya. I'm just conscious of the time. I'll come back to you with my question. I have a question for you. But next, let's move to Jim, Martin from BIT with his keynote. Jim, over to you. Hi, you're on mute.
That should fix that. Okay, thanks, Sunny and Aditya. I think my comments here will dovetail really nicely into the previous comments. BIT is, just a little bit of background first. BIT is building a CBDC for the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. We also have a existing digital money platform called M-Money, which is operating in Barbados. And despite the fact that we are headquartered in Barbados, we are actually quite a dynamo of a little company. We've got developers and staff located in multiple countries, from Europe through the Caribbean and into the United States. We span 8 time zones, I think. So it's quite an awesome place to be, and we have a kind of a front seat to what's going on in the fintech space, especially with the coronavirus. I'm the least interesting part of this presentation. I've been working on software and developing software for nearly 30 years now. The benefits, which is a horrible title here, of the current pandemic on fintech and crypto and CBDC has the pandemic has really accelerated what governments and banks are looking for. They desperately need ways to deliver payments to citizens. They are anxious to find some way to streamline the delivery and the motion of money. Businesses and merchants, same thing. They need clean, fast means for delivering payments and payroll and billing. And then people, just regular people around the world, need ways to make and receive payments and deal with money. The real fundamental problem is people aren't moving, but money is. And digital ways of transferring value have become incredibly valuable these days. And in just the last month or two, the number of institutions and central banks and other organizations that BIT has been talking to has increased tremendously. And the interest level from all of these other organizations has gone from fairly casual to anxious. And I think that bodes very well for investment and opportunity, as well as for companies like BIT and others that are providing these technologies. The long-term effects, and this has been touched on by others here in the discussions today. First and foremost, vastly accelerated development of central bank digital currencies. What used to be an academic exercise in terms of it would be nice to have a digital currency, we see some nice utility there. Suddenly the pandemic has made very clear and very stark the need and the utility for a digital currency. And so suddenly all these central banks and governments are finally really breaking loose and starting to actually move and get these tasks done and start delivering this utility and these services to their citizens. There's also a domino effect with this, that all the rules and regulations that are fairly cash-centric and for decades and even centuries have been built up around existing banking systems. Some of these things are beneficial and helpful in these difficult times, and some are not. And we're getting to see what governments and institutions can actually respond and make the necessary adjustments and which cannot. So in terms of looking for investment and business opportunities, keep an eye on what governments and regulatory agencies are able to start making adjustments and which cannot. That'll be a good signal to where money and where services can go. We're also going to be seeing a vast increase in public debt. And I think that this is going to increase demand for crypto as some portions of the population start seeking some way to protect their wealth or their value in means other than fiat currencies. And then finally, all of these things ultimately just driving demand for fintech development. Again, BIT is seeing this a great deal, and I'm sure others are as well. I think I'm going to skip the last parts of my comments, which are fairly trivial, but in order to get us back on time. But really, fundamentally, the pandemic, as terrible as it has been in terms of human cost and economic cost, represents an inflection point business-wise and economically for the entire planet. And this is something unusual that we haven't seen in ever. And so investors, take courage, developers and those that have great ideas, take courage. There are great opportunities to be had here, things that will really benefit the world. Thanks.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Jim. I definitely have a question for you, which I'm going to come back to you later. I'll just overrun the time. I'm going to pass the floor now to Nadia, who is going to talk to the competitors now. Thank you. Over to you, Nadia.
Hello, everybody. So we start our pitch competition now. And we have 2 projects today. So I would like to start with Sean Tham, marketing advisor at Rajacoin. Sean, are you ready to present your project?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay. So just get started. Please start with a brief intro on yourself and share your screen.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon to some and good evening to those in Asia. Okay, basically, this is very much an Indonesian project. I'm advising them. I'm based in Singapore. Let me just quickly go into it. Okay, Rajacoin is going to be basically asset token because of the regulatory in Indonesia, very much like Bitcoin. We boast of trying to be the Bitcoin of Indonesia. Okay, I want to share with you basically a lot of statistics about Indonesia. To those who are not familiar with Indonesia, this is like the 4th biggest population in the world. So a lot of opportunities still out there for cryptocurrency. But we call ourselves an asset token because of regulatory. We are not. We talk about barter trade. We don't talk about payment so much. Okay, so this because one of our main advisor investor is a litigator, so he's very particular. So I have to be careful. We are not a payment token. We are not a cryptocurrency per se. Asset token. Okay, so just look through the statistics. Plenty of numbers up here. So I'm not going to bore you with it, but maybe tell some interesting story later. So with big cashless, okay, first we talk about the market opportunity. All these are the numbers to look out for. I have been to Indonesia like every other month before the COVID. If you go to any shopping mall, you will see many payment system, non-crypto. OVO is one of those interesting ones. They give you like 50% rebate, 60% rebate. So it is nothing to do with crypto, but basically their payment system, I think it is moving towards China. More and more people are just going to pay cashless because the rebate is ridiculous. Shopee, we have Shopee also there. We have, of course, Gojek, okay, the equivalent of Uber in Indonesia. So they are very big in payment, in cashless payment. Look at the online shopping. They are also very big into it. Basically, I mean, after China, America, India, Indonesia is the 4th biggest population in the world. Therefore, I mean, everything goes with it as well. I think mainly because people there, I think they are not as, I mean, like most developing country. Mobile phone is smartphone, mobile phone, everybody can access, maybe not so much of laptop and other stuff. So big shopping culture there. I think Shopee is doing very well over there. I happen to know the GM. I think they are doing super well in Indonesia. Shopee is based in Singapore, by the way, for those who do not know. A very big building. Interestingly, my son just had an internship with them. Yeah, so I kind of like Shopee. Okay, coming to the unbanked population in Indonesia again. It is again huge. Look at the numbers. Singapore obviously has the least, and then we have Indonesia a lot. Yeah, so we want to use our asset token to reach out to them. We have our platform, we have our app all coming up. Actually, we have done a lot of things already. We are not a startup. We have done. We have all developed everything more or less there. So now we are just selling our token through our network. Okay, so basic thing we are doing is soft, like in most asset token like Bitcoin, Ethereum. We are stuck with government regulation problem. A lot of countries, Indonesia same. We are very particular about not talking about payment. We're not talking about cryptocurrency. We just going to talk about asset token as well as barter trade. So if you want to come to the Indonesian market, these are the things you need to look out for. Don't talk about payment because you get into trouble with the government. Basically, at the end of the day, you can only the rule of the game in Indonesia is that at the end of the day, you will have to so-called fiat out in IDR, Indonesian dollar, before you can even do anything. If it's not fiat out in the local currency, you're kind of illegal. Okay, but there's a way of, I mean, it can be done. It can be done. Okay, use case I mentioned a few times, digital asset token, maybe the other word. Okay? And I think that we do a lot. As I said, we've done quite a few things. We actually worked with cooperative. Interestingly, stories. In Indonesia, they start up with some medical insurance for the poor people in recent time under the second term of President Jokowi. What they have done is that now for small insurance premium, they are all allowed to go to see doctors and clinic. When before, most poorer Indonesians can't afford to go to any doctors. So all of a sudden, a lot of clinics has more business. In fact, most of those small clinics overnight become so busy, too much business to handle, and the problem is that their cash flow to buy new medicine. Okay, what they do is that they'll treat the patient and claim on the insurance, which will take some time, maybe a couple of months or weeks before they can get their money. So meanwhile, for that the 1 month or so, they will need to do kind of bridging loan. So which we are doing, we're working with some cooperative that we would lend them from the tokens, and then our so-called with the sales of token, and then we in turn will generate some sort of revenue. It is not promised return, don't worry. It's still a utility token. It's still 100% utility token, but in the Indonesian context, it's quite interesting because we work with cooperative, so we have a way of lending actually. So that's the collateral part. It means the doctors won't run away. That's one we don't. And other things that we are doing, we're having lending to migrant worker. A lot of Indonesians work overseas. So interesting story. Okay, a lot of them are so-called domestic helper. In Singapore, we have plenty also. Indonesian ladies come to Singapore, work as domestic worker. But after which they will send their money pay back home. Sad to say, sometimes the guys at home don't behave themselves. So good story. And so they will then, whatever salary that's given to them, instead of paying for the kids' tuition fee and this and that and everything else, they use it on things that are not supposed to be used. So the money is kind of wasted away. So in order to prevent that, we come up with a system that will kind of let them have a chance to take token instead of taking real cash, which we will collateralize it at the same time, lend them money to do small businesses. So it's kind of protecting the domestic worker that's working so hard in overseas. So these are some of the examples. So basically, two concepts. One is we are a asset token. I mean, you look at the price later, you'll be shocked. And we are also working as a kind of token that can use as a collateral. Okay, look at the price. It's $90 US. Okay, so that's why I'm saying, okay, we are a bit like what call that? Maybe Ethereum price kind of thing. Yeah. Interestingly, we have 21 million token as well, like Bitcoin. Okay, so just something to fun fact. Okay, quick run through. We going to locate orders to founders. Don't get a lot, only 15%. So the rest goes to the rest of people. We have done the development, research and development, 30%. All this are all here. Okay, this is, I say, it's a very much an Indonesian project. We were in Bali. This is where the cooperative is based. So we were there, opening ceremony for that cooperative. It's called Koperasi in Indonesia. Okay, so, and these are the people. Okay, over here, mainly in Indonesian, for those who want to learn a good way of addressing, Pak Yen, Mr. Yen, Pak Yen, Pak Andrew. Andrew is a lawyer. Pak Yen is very much kind of a millionaire. He runs a lot, like 10 businesses. So he's our main investor. I'm here with a very super tech guy, tech advisor, Sebastian, and of course another lawyer involved, Donnie. Andrew don't handle the legal part. Actually, he's just the investor. Okay, our corporate office. This is my kind of my right-hand man. He's very experienced in marketing. Okay, these are our partner. You may have heard of them. Watts is run by Anish. Sunny, maybe you can invite him the next time. Okay, he is our payment partner. Be careful about that because I keep saying we can't say payment, but he is a payment platform. So he has his own merchant network, about 100 for a start in July. He will launch a POC. We are also part of the merchant network. So we need to say, let's say out of the 100 merchants, we will have also, we may have 50. We will start something in Indonesia after the COVID. The date keeps postponing because of COVID. But in time to come, we hope to have, I think, 50,000, according to Anish, that's his projection, the next few years. We have signed out, I think he has signed out some airport lounge and all this. Sad to say, thanks to COVID, nothing is moving. Okay, so, and this is our, let's say we are doing things already. Price area is an online affiliated, what you call that, online platform, meaning he will bring a lot of people who buy stuff to the different like Shopee and what have you. Soraya is very much a grocery mark. These are our very close partner. So we are going to use Raja Coin on this platform already. Yeah, in the plan. Yeah, I think the date we have shifted a bit because of the COVID situation. Okay, thank you. That's all.
Thank you very much, Sean. And we have another project for today. It's represented by Ha Ho, co-founder of TreeIP. Hi, could you please join us?
Hello, thank you.
Yeah, just start with a brief introduction on yourself and share your slides for an elevator pitch.
Yep. Hello, my name is Hai Ho. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Trip. We are the #1 blockchain data marketplace, ranked by theapp.com. So to share with you, we are a VC-backed sustainable travel tech company with a combined 100-year experience in technology and travel industry. My CTO was the head of engineer for Grab in Vietnam. He also the one who built the platform for Bluebird taxis in Indonesia, and then it's acquired by Grab. So what the problem that we are solving is one of the biggest problem in the travel industry, high customer acquisition cost due to data monopoly. So you see right now, for every booking in the travel industry, if you spend $100, 30 to $40 go to the middleman, the OTAs, the advertising platform. And for the user, they have to pay overprice because there's a lot of middlemen, and there's no control of their personal data, which collected on the social network, on the search engine. And for the business, they have to pay up to 50% of revenue to acquire new customer. And even though they have to pay the money to get the customer, they have no understanding about the traveler that about to use the service. So what we're building is we want to build a blockchain data marketplace that connecting business and traveler directly. For the benefits, the user get the direct price from the business in 229 countries. They be able to earn passive income from the travel data, and they will also be able to earn more money by referring their friend to join the network. And for the business, the benefit is very clear. They have 70% cut in user acquisition costs, and they have complete control of the data with the user consent. So let me show you how the platform works. So we built a consumer app called the Trip app. Within the Trip app, we ask users to share their upcoming travel plan. So before the COVID, every day we have about 400 travel plans submitted with destination. So normally the user will go in and say, they type in the destination, how many people they're going to do, what kind of activity they're going to like. And in order to verify that this is a proof of travel, they need to submit their travel document, for example, boarding pass, hotel booking, anything to prove that they really travel to the destinations. Once they finish this process, we give them 264 trip miles, our old cryptocurrency. With this cryptocurrency, they'll be able to book 29 million rooms, 80,000 tour and activities worldwide. So we are the only blockchain travel company that be able to work with both Agoda and Booking.com. So we have a full access, a white label to their inventory, plus 80,000 tour in 100 countries. And after sharing the data with us, the user will be able to refer their friend to earn more. And for us, this is our key strategy to grow our user. In terms of the business model, we want to design a win-win-win situations. For the traveler, first, they travel data, they get paid. And this data is stored on our blockchain network. For our blockchains, it's stored on 150 decentralized server. The speed of our blockchain network is 5,000 TPS, and the cost is near zero. This travel data, including gender, age, group size, interest, time arrival, duration, travel reference. And with this data, it's encrypted. With the business, we'll buy this data and pay for us in our TripMy token. And also, we take a commissions for every successful booking fee, which is 2%. And right now, for business and traveler, they can always refer their friends to join our network, so they will be able to earn TripMy to travel or to use our service. For us, we're looking at a huge market size. Just in Asia Pacific alone, it's $1 billion of travel marketing dollar. And even with the current COVID situations, a lot of travel business are looking different way to spend their travel dollar. They realize that they need something cheaper than the traditional method of just posting an ad on Facebook or Google. And for the global market, it's 100 billion travel marketing industry. However, what we're building is not just about building a new way to reach the customer. We are building an entire new decentralized travel economy with worth $8.8 trillion. It will be able to successfully do this. And our revenue model, we have 3 different ways to make money. The first one, when we collect the data with the travel plan, we'll be able to send a push notifications of the offer from local business to the traveler. We charge 20 cents per push notification. And on every successful booking, we take 2% commission. And by using our TripMy token to book hotel, to pay for tour, or to buy advertising service, for every transaction, we take 0.5%. And this is a very different way of revenue model compared to traditional travel company, which most of the time rely on commission on each booking. Based on our estimated, we're gonna hit 169 million GMV in 5 years. and we're going to have about 13 million revenue with $2 million expand. We have a small team, decentralized in Vietnam and in Asia. So therefore, our operation cost is very low. Since the launch of our alpha version in January last year, we have a growth rate of 200% month over month in terms of user, and 40% of them coming back after 30 days. And 90% of our users are coming from referral. We have 200 data submissions every day. And we are currently the #1 blockchain travel app on theapp.com. Here is some of the review from the user. So we have about 4.5 out of 5 rating on the Play Store. And even during the COVID time, where other player in the travel market is growing, is slow, they stop growing or they've been dying, we still achieve the growth. Because for our user, the key of our business is the data. It's not just about the travel. And in order to overcome the COVID situations, we turn from we pay for their travel plan. Right now we are paying for them to submit their stay home photo. So every time, every day they stay home, they take a photo, send with their locations, GPS, we give them 1 trip mile. And this initiative has been won a few COVID hackathon online. Every day we have about 600 people sharing their locations across the world. Recently, we secured an exclusive digital pass distribution to a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which means they're going to use our platform to issue a ticket to enter a unique town in Vietnam called Hoi An. So Hoi An had 13 million arrival, and all of this user, they will need to buy the ticket through our platform so that we'll be able to grow to a lot more user without spending a single dollar, and we'll be able to make money through this distributions. We also have a strategy partnership with a leading digital company in Vietnam. They have about 500 million potential reach on Facebook and 14 billion view on YouTube. And this is also another way for us to grow without spending investor dollar. We also secure very strategic partnerships in our lifetime. So we partner with Agoda, Booking.com, Visa, Amadeus, UNWTO. For any competitor who want to replicate what we're doing, first they have to replicate what we do in technology. Secondly, they have to spend years to build relationship with this global leader. In terms of technologies, we are 2 years ahead of everyone else in the blockchain travel tech. So we build another layer on top of the TomoChain blockchain platform. And for us, we are planning to launch a new campaign to grow user. We call it the Travel Hero campaign. The Travel Hero is our referral initiative, where we asking KOL, like everyone here on the call, to create your own travel website. So you can have like travelhero.org/LaToken. And on this website, LaToken user follower can book hotel tour. 1% commission will go straight to LaToken, and another 1% will go to a sustainable fund with LaToken name, where you can plant a tree or grow a forest with a LaToken name. So I would like to invite every speaker here to join this program and become a Travel Hero ambassador. We already have commitment from 17 KOL with a combined 2 million followers, and this campaign is backed by Agoda. So for us, it's just a referral initiative to grow 5 million users, but together with Agoda, we want to make sure that we'll be able to grow 3 through these foundations. So currently we are raising Series A to grow 30x in this year. We're looking about $1 million. And we have a special follow investor, which is the Portuguese government fund called 200M. So if any lead investor put in $1 million, the Portuguese government fund gonna match $1 million together. And by doing this, it will enhance our machine learning for our user. It provides us 2-year runway. For us, the technology we're using, 46% will spend on research and development. We have a small team of 17 people, where 11 are engineer and product designer. This is just of the tips of the iceberg. We will start with the travel industry, but right now, out of 180,000 users, we have 4,000 users have complete KYC. And for most of our users, in order to withdraw the token, they have to complete the KYC. So we have the foundation to build a global decentralized bank. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. And I pass the floor to Sonny to make a quick round of questions for investor panel.
Thank you, Nadia. So just go to the judges, the speakers of today to give some feedback to our pitch competitors. So I would like to start with Aditya. Do you have questions? Raja Coin first and followed by Trip.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks for sharing the projects. I think very interesting. On Raja Coin, I didn't really understand the exact business model of the coin. So Sean, maybe if you can dig a bit deeper on that, that'll be helpful.
As I mentioned, it is because of the Indonesian law. We emphasize that we are asset digital token like a Bitcoin. Yeah, asset token. So you build on it to let it grow. And I also emphasize it's like barter trade. You don't actually use it as a payment, per se, the term they use in Indonesia. And I mentioned also on collateral. So we have various ways where we can use the token as a collateral and not be a security token, just to let you know. Okay? That means it is just how Indonesian law works, right? So we kind of have returns for the token holder. So basically, we have different applications. I didn't list everything. I mentioned about the clinic. I mentioned about the domestic worker. So these are the applications. And of course, in a sense, we are doing payment because we have a few payment platform already. But it's just how we're going to, like I say in the first slide, about how tokens, asset tokens are not accepted so widely yet is because of government regulation. So being an Indonesian project, we will want to follow exactly, let's say one of our main investor is a lawyer. So he's very particular. I changed my presentation slide many times because I have terms like utility. I mean, when I start using terms like payment, everything is wrong. Okay? So yeah, so it's very much a token that can use for collateral purpose. Maybe just a short answer.
Got it. Appreciate it. And then Hi, I think very interesting what you guys are building. I think it has a lot of potential. And I think my question was though, like on the step 2 that you mentioned, where a user has to verify using their boarding card, etc. How long in advance do I have to enter my information though to actually get the discounts and stuff? Because I mean, that system can be gamed, right? I mean, I can make a booking on booking.com, but not pay for it and then push that in. And I may not actually be traveling. So how are you guys getting over that problem?
So right now, we already integrated booking system, booking.com into our system. So if they make a booking on our platform and they're not there, we know it.
Got it. But then how long in advance do you expect me as a user to input the information?
So right now, for us, as long as we don't, we're gonna give them, like, they're gonna get 264 trip mile. If they don't submit, they don't have that money. It's just simple. And if they submit it wrongly, they don't get that money too.
Got it. Okay, great. Yeah, I think very interesting what you guys about.
Yeah, thank you, Aditya. Next, Andre, would you like to ask some questions to both the projects?
Oh yes. I'd like to ask Hi one question. How long do you take to convince Agoda and Booking.com to work together with you? Just curious about that.
The pain. So for Agoda, we start talking to them on November of 2017. Well, from our side, it's simple, but they asked us to finish on the PSI application, and then the whole thing will take about 5 months. For Agoda, we're starting from September last year until now. It's like May, so it's a more like 6 months. There's a lot of, like, for example, the documentations is not very clear. The document is writing one way, but the real APIs is updating by someone else, and everything have to go through their headquarters in Amsterdam. It took a long time.
Okay, then I got one second question. All the blockchain technology, why did you decide to use Tomo Chain? I mean, I did hear good things about Tomo Chain. Yeah, it's a very powerful platform.
Yeah, so I think the first thing is when we decided to use which blockchain platform, it was at the end of 2017, early of 2018. There's not, so we did study like most of the platform available back there, Ethereum, EOS, Zilliqa. So after like spending 6 months talking to each dev team, we conclude that the Tomo Chain team, the documentations, the roadmap, and the engineering support team is the right team for us. For example, on Zilliqa, the documentation is very tough for our engineer to follow on, and it's work 2018. Before, like right now, we have a lot more platform. For Tomo Chains, they deliver their mainnet. They'll be able to achieve 5,000 TPS. And in terms of the fee, they have a POS, a proof of stake system, where the fee is near zero, which is very valuable for us. You can have a booking of $2 or $3, and the fee is like almost like 0.005. If I use Ethereum, the fee will be much higher. So I don't think it makes sense for a travel product, which is like $1 or $2 like us.
Yeah, I'd like to end off by saying that you and your team Hai has done impressive work, because I came across other travel blockchain platforms, but all of them, they lose to you. Yeah, and I'd like to go on over to Sean. Basically, what is BRRRRR Coin's expansion plans out of Indonesia?
I think basically we are focusing on Indonesia right now. And thanks to COVID, things have slowed down. So I went to like the last trip I went to Jakarta, Surabaya, Pontianak, and because of the COVID situation, I got rushed back to Singapore. One of my other colleagues went to another city. So we visited about 3 or 4 cities so far. So we will carry on. Just to share, I keep emphasizing this is a big population. Indonesia is a developing country, just to share one point. The last project I advised is quite a famous one called Vaccinium. They claim to be the Ethereum of Indonesia. They did their ICO during the July 2018, I believe so, yeah. And it was the worst time to do ICO. Yet, because their project is a discount coupon kind of token, they managed to get very, very small contribution of $10, because everybody who give them $10 to buy a token get $10 of KFC discount coupon, something like that. So they got 6 million USD. I mean, after they converted everything during that time, it was actually a very good job done during that time, 2018 July. Danny is a good friend of mine. He's always meet him in Indonesia. So my point is this: we are going to, I mean, especially right now in this present COVID environment, we have referral scheme. We have some other scheme that will encourage our token holder to refer customer to us. You know? So at the end of the day, it is sure numbers that we're talking about in Indonesia. So any project who want to come to Indonesia, look at this. Everybody give $10, 400 million people, just 1%, good enough. Okay, so just a thought for you guys.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I went to Indonesia many times, so I'm quite aware of the market size. Yeah, it's a very strong market. Yeah. Okay, I have no more further questions to ask to both candidates.
Thank you, Andre. Next, moving to Ingo. Hi.
Let me unmute first. So yeah, my first question actually to Sean. Maybe I just didn't get it. What is the technological platform behind BRRRRR Coin, And second question, how do you actually make sure the decentralization of the whole thing?
Sorry, I didn't hear the second question. First question, I also not very clear what you're trying to ask. Sorry. Can you repeat the question?
The first question was which technology is behind that? So which blockchain do you actually use, or is that your own blockchain?
ERC20. But we also have, because we have affiliated small exchange that uses Stellar, so there's a mention of Stellar platform behind, but the token itself ERC20.
Okay, and the second question was around a decentralization, but if it's based in Stellar, I think that's answered already. Okay, thank you. Then for Hai, first my congratulations. I think this is a great venture actually, and it's exactly like extremely positive that you already have all those big platforms working together with you. And my question would be more on internationalization. I think you're starting off in Vietnam right now, or is that already? Do you have already internationalization plans for you? Are you muted?
So right now we have users from 131 countries. Our biggest market is Russia. Number 2 is Turkey. Number 3, India, Bangladesh, and then Indonesia, and then Vietnam.
Cool, very cool. That was my questions. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Moving on to the next one. Judge Jim, would you have any questions for both the projects?
I just have one question for Hai, I believe. I think I missed the jump from the travel app to being a bank. Can you go into a little more detail on that? The last slide of the presentation covered that.
From the travel app to what?
I believe, was it the last slide of your presentation that basically said that it had opportunity to become a bank?
Okay. So for us, as you can see, we're starting as a travel app, but out of all the travel app out there, there's no travel app asks you to complete the KYC, right? You don't submit your passport to Agoda, Booking, or Airbnb, etc. For us, right now, it's a mandatory for our user to complete the KYC. And for us, with the KYC building in, with the wallet that we're having for the user, we'll be able to introduce financial service like staking, P2P lending. And for us, that's the direction where we want to moving in.
Okay, I see that link now. Are you doing your own KYC, or are you using a third party in the background like IdentityMind or Netkey or something like that?
So right now, we are doing our own KYC service. And so right now, we have a few companies in Vietnam that providing the KYC service at a really cheap price. But for us, once we be able to secure more funding, we want to use a better system compared to the current that we're using right now.
Okay, so, but you intend to continue using a third-party KYC provider instead of actually building up a KYC business inside your business?
For us, with our limited resource, we have to prioritize other part. So yes, right now we need to rely on third-party service.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any question for Sean?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I've got a question for Aditya and Jim later. Aditya, because you obviously hold a lot of portfolio companies under yourself, I just have a question with regards to the Indian startups. After the ban was lifted, I mean, the industry was very happy, especially the startups, the founders in India. But suddenly, the COVID-19, the COVID situation, so what is your advice? Because I get asked from the founders mostly, India and also world over, like, what is the best strategy for fundraising? How can we scale up? And yeah, what are your advice to those founders, especially from India context, because they were like all going, but suddenly had to stop?
Yeah, I think great question. So I think specifically within the Indian context, and I guess within the niche of crypto in India, before the RBI had initiated the ban, there was 3 or 4 large exchanges doing significant volume, relatively speaking. There was one exchange that was doing about $200 million of Ripple every day, which in Indian rupee terms is quite a bit of capital. And this RBI ban basically put a big circuit breaker in that entire process. And I think now the kind of retail euphoria that existed in 2017 is still not there at the moment. So the founders need to look at it more from a marathon than a sprint. I think crypto will be a pretty big, not just from the financial aspect, from the real world use case aspect, right? Sean mentioned underbanked and unbanked populations. Even in India, that's been a big challenge. So I think decentralized lending, banking the unbanked or the underbanked, those sort of use cases will also emerge from within the Indian ecosystem. And the tech talent is amazing in India. It's absolutely great. So it's just, don't think of it as a sprint. It's a marathon filled with a lot of different sprints in the middle. But you have to have a long-term view, especially in crypto, right? Running a tech business is already risky. Running a crypto business, which doesn't have regulatory frameworks, is riskier. So you have to have a long-term view in the space.
Absolutely. Thank you. Even I agree to that. So the founders who are listening to Aditya, please stay strong and treat it as a marathon, not a sprint running. Thank you so much. Jim, quickly to you, because you deal with CBDCs and everything. So because obviously in the current perspective, CBDCs, Bitcoin, Libra, so there are so many currencies, cryptocurrencies are all around us. As per you, which is the future of currency and why?
Okay. This is a really good question. I actually have a really nice long presentation on this, but really short. For the purpose of this question, let me make a differentiation between currency and money. Money is something that you pay your taxes in, that governments accept for taxes and fees and other things. Currency is something you can spend and to purchase goods and services. So money can be currency, but currency isn't necessarily money, and I hope that's clear. So because of that difference, though, I think CBDCs are going to be the most successful going into the future. But as I said in my earlier comments about crypto, especially Bitcoin, there is a huge place in the global economy for digital currencies and cryptocurrencies. People are going to want and need currencies that are not subject to the whims of government. But on the other hand, governments are going to put out their own CBDCs that will be used to provide additional services and augment what physical cash can do right now. Other things like Libra can also be seen as a currency, but we're going to see a lot of specialized things like Libra. They may take the form of points at your local grocery store or travel miles or other things that you can exchange for goods and services, but they won't be money that governments accept for tax purposes. So I see the future as a large network or mesh of different CBDCs connected with different exchanges. I'll be able to exchange your CBDC directly with a cryptocurrency instead of having to go through an exchange or some other awkward place, right? Some other awkward exchange mechanism right now. So I see the future is really exciting and bright for CBDCs and cryptocurrencies and other things like Libra, but I think CBDC is going to become the most commonly used for the general public.
Thank you, great point. So founders, stay put. Cryptocurrency is the future. So, okay, now thank you so much for your time. We're almost half an hour ahead of over the time, but I still want to ask you questions, especially Sean and Haiho, who just joined us for their pitch competition. So Sean, I'd like to start with you first. How do you think these kind of online sessions where you get to pitch before the leaders and a larger audience, how does they help your project? Like Raja Coin, how has he added any value to your project?
I would think, yeah, I mean, under the present COVID situation, this is definitely good. and we can actually share with people around the world. Hopefully, we're reaching out to many people, and from here, I mean, I'm very much a marketing person, so we can use this as a platform to spin our marketing as well.
Excellent. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you, Sean. Moving on to Hai. It's the same question.
I think as Heart, we still a sustainable travel company, so we care much about the carbon footprint, and we have saved tons of carbon footprint by not flying for this conference. Normally in the past is one blockchain conference to another blockchain conference to another side conference. We travel like crazy, but now we can do this, save time, save the carbon footprint. And honestly, I think I have done a lot more sharing, and I think I learned a lot more with this kind of opportunity. Without this kind of online pitchings, I don't think I'll be able to reach out to everyone here.
Excellent. So you're looking forward to attend more of these road shows, if we.
Yes, I think this should stay permanent even after the COVID.
Excellent. Thank you. Moving on to the speakers. Start with Andre. What do you think about this online roadshows, and how has it helped you?
Yeah, for us, I think for me, I'm quite an old school guy. I mean, before this, of course, recently I got some skills in digital marketing. But basically, what happens is that I feel that it's a good initiative by LA Token to organize this, because we have to adapt to the situation. We can't just go to blockchain conferences, which I'm quite well known for going. I mean, you see me all over the place. but right now, the webinars are the way to go. It's a good way to reach out to investors, a good way to keep our communities updated. So I thank LA Token for taking this initiative.
Excellent. Thank you. Ingo, would you like to take that same question?
Yeah, maybe as I already said in the keynote, I really enjoy not to fly a lot. So I think it's saving us all a lot of time, and we can be more efficient. And I think also in our company, we noticed that a lot of things work very good through video conferences. There's not everything. So I think if you do creative work, it's not easy over video conferencing and tools like webinars, but spreading information is much easier, much cheaper than it was before, and it definitely saves a lot of time, which we all benefit from it. So I think it's great.
Okay, thank you for those inputs. Aditya, what do you think about attending La Token's roadshow today? How has it helped you?
I think it's great. Got to learn a lot and lots of interesting insights. Like everyone said, love not to fly every other day to a new city. I think this entire coronavirus situation is, at least personally, helping me be a bit more disciplined and have a routine. So it's great. Fantastic. I think you guys should continue with the initiative.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Last but not least, Jim. So how has he helped you, and the road shows that we have?
I'm going to say that it's helped a lot because, again, like Ingo said, saving the time for travel, being able to use that more productively has been a huge benefit. I also like the ability to essentially Netflix or watch some of these things asynchronously from recordings. And so I'm able to, again, make more advantageous use of my time. Downside, though, I do miss some of the creative discussions when I'm actually rubbing shoulders with people face to face.
Okay. Oh, yeah, exactly. We do miss face to face, but that's the only way to go forward right now. Guys, the whole point is we should stay connected even after these sessions are over. Now we have met so many new people on this platform, and the whole idea is to just stay connected for a couple of months, more months or years, who knows, and share knowledge and help each other out. That brings to the end of the session. Thanks a lot for your time. I'm going to pass the floor to Nadia finally to close. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you all for participating in our today's roadshow, and we kindly invite you to participate in our other formats as well. So we have Startup Leaders Club, which will start in a couple of hours, and we also have keynotes, which you tried today in a short version, but you can devote more time if you want to share something of your masterclasses or keynote presentations as a separate event. We'll be happy to host that. It's both for projects and investors, and we're happy to generate new formats of interactions between investors and startup leaders. We have lots of serial entrepreneurs who went on through various steps of crisis and can share experience with their peers, as well as investors who are ready to share their investment policies with other investor groups and types, and also a bit help other startups with their advice, and to be mentors for large groups of startup leaders in various diversified industries and segments. Thank you so much. Join us and stay healthy.
Thank you, Nadia. And thank you all for your time today. Good night, good evening, good day, and speak to you soon. Bye-bye.